CIO News. I am Khushbu, Soni, a host for the broadcast and a contributing editor at CIO News. This is a recorded session and will be available on our website, which is cionews.co.in, and our CIO News LinkedIn handle. This is an exclusive interview powered by Tata Communications. Let me dive in introducing my guest for today. He is Mr. Subrata Dey, Global Information Officer at Godrej Consumer Products. Subrata leads global IT function at Godrej Consumer Products and also for the Godrej Group. Subrata partnered with businesses and led several large-scale technology-led business transformation initiatives to drive business performance for multiple geographies like India, Southeast Asia, Africa, UK, US, and Latin America. Subrata has 25 years of rich experience in IT and has worked extensively with CPG, FMCG companies, and he's also led supply chain planning and logistics function in addition to CIO role for a few years. Welcome, Subrata. It's a pleasure to have you today.
Pleasure to be here.
Along with me, I also have Jeyavelan as he's the regional head for India and Mecca business with communications at Tata Communication. Jay has 25 years of experience in collaboration working with various brands such as BT, Aircel, Netfor, etc. Welcome, Jay.
Yeah, happy to be here.
Great. So, Subrata, we are all aware of the brand Godrej Consumer Products, but if you can give us a quick brief, it'll be great to hear from you.
Sure. So as you know that, Godrej Consumer Products, is in a fast-moving consumer goods business, right? And we have a presence in multiple countries across the globe, right? We have a large presence in India, and Southeast Asia. And then apart from that, we have presence we have our manufacturing and distribution, operations in Latin America, Africa, US, and we deal with in all these countries we deal with FMCG products mostly, right? And we are one of the, I think I would call it as a emerging market multinational, company, right? And our international business currently contributes roughly around 45% of our total revenue, and we have been growing pretty well over the years. Some of our key brands are household brands, like everybody knows about Godrej Synthol, Godrej #1 brand, like the soaps brand, like Godrej #1, Synthol, and then we have Goodnight, Heat, all our household brands, right? So everybody knows about that. Like, all of us are using these products, right, on our day-to-day life, right? Some of the other products and categories what people probably in India are not so familiar with, like, say, for example, we have a dry hair business in Africa, which is called Darling. So that's a very popular product in Africa. And then we have got a lot of other businesses, other categories, and products in other markets like Indonesia, Latin America, US. So in most of these countries, we are primarily into hair color, household products, hygiene products, in all these businesses, right? So that's where we are roughly around $1.5 billion company currently.
Absolutely, great. We've been using Godrej on a day-to-day life. So brand, which is very close to all of us. So just to understand, so how do you collaborate with your employees, to solve project issues with stakeholders, or to give them real-time project status?
Yeah, I'm saying, last 18 months, as you know, that everybody has been working from home, right? Barring, in between few months when some people have started, going to office. But mostly it is still, working from home for most of the companies, right? Including us, right? So obviously at this time, right, like, the collaboration tools and technologies becomes very, very important, so that people can work relatively seamlessly, you know. And we have deployed several technology solutions. I mean, before even this pandemic started, we have been using, collaboration tools like, Microsoft Teams, WebEx, Zoom, all of that, right? So we use different kind of collaboration tools and technologies in our environment. But I think in the last 18 months, what I see very clearly, all this adoption has been accelerated, at a very rapid pace, right? And now everybody is working, using those technologies, right? And it works pretty well. I think good part is basically, as a company, we have invested in some of those technologies way before, and as a result, when this pandemic has hit us, last year, I think we are able to quickly move to a work from home environment, quite faster. And I think, since then it has continued, and we have not faced much of a problem, except probably first 10, 15 days, people have to adapt to these changes, right? But I would say, like, it was more of a relatively, seamless transition, for us, in all our geographies. Yeah. So
Sure.
I'm happy to say that, like, it was a very relatively seamless, transition, I would say.
Great, great. Um, sort of like you mentioned, about the collaboration platforms, which you already had for almost a good number of years, and it wasn't that difficult when moving from work from home users. So I also wanted to understand, how are you ensuring adherence to HR and IT compliance, while providing these collaboration solutions to the work from home users?
What do you mean by HR and IT compliance? Let me understand that question before I answer. What do you mean by HR and IT compliance? When you say, how do you ensure HR and IT compliance? Let me understand that question
Right.
better.
So basically, IT more also from the security perspective, and HR, while there are a lot of,
Okay,
compliance
understand.
from an HR perspective as well.
Okay, understand. Where are you coming from? I understand that. See, as a company, we trust, we trust our people, right? Um we don't want to do the policing work, like, who is working at what time, kind of thing. Like, even prior to this, as a company, we allow a lot of flexibility. We give a lot of flexibility to our employees. So um, we don't have a system where, like, you need to clock, what time you're coming in, what time you're going out. We focus more on output, right? On delivery. Yeah. So therefore, and even in the past also, we were allowing people to work from home twice a month before the pandemic, right? So as a result, like, I think people understand their responsibilities. People understand very clearly what they're supposed to deliver. So therefore, like, we are not interested to really, do that kind of a check, like, though our technologies allow us to do that, right? But then we don't, do those kind of things, because, as I said, like, we trust our people, we trust our employees, right? And therefore, like, we don't do this kind of a, don't believe in doing those kind of policing work, right? In terms of IT compliance, you are right. I think that's very important, like, because from a security point of view, I think we need to keep some checks and balances, and that's what we do. We have put a lot of security. We have invested in enhancing and strengthening our security over a period of time, because, as we believe, that's very important. But as all of us know, I think this is a journey which continues. There is nothing called, 100% foolproof security. Nobody can actually, say with certainty. You will have to keep, strengthening your security postures, because there are new vulnerabilities which will keep coming, right? And we need to keep your guards on all the time, right? And that's what we do. Our security team, our infrastructure team, they keep along with our technology partners, right? They do a constant check, and then we take necessary actions on a regular basis. Yeah, we take actions on a regular basis.
Sure. Sure. So my next question is, to understand the cloud adoption. I mean, how important it has become now to migrate to digital platforms, and what factors do you consider, while migrating to cloud or digital platforms?
Yeah, I think the digital platform is extremely important for any company. It's not only now. I think this most of the companies, including us, have started this quite a few years ago, right? And again, on that area, I must say that we took certain early calls, right, of moving some of our workloads or many of our workloads onto cloud, right? We are one of the first few company in India, probably, to go to cloud on certain things. Like, so for example, our entire HR platform, right? We chose to go on to cloud, some 10, 11 years ago, right? When cloud was not such a big buzzword, right? So we chose, success factor on cloud, and then since then we have been, using our HR systems on cloud, right? And similarly, like, if you look at, like, the way as a company we have adopted O365 and all of that, right? Our entire, you know, platform on cloud, right? I think all of that, I think we embraced it much earlier. We believe in going ahead with a multi-cloud approach. So our thinking is no one cloud probably will help us to meet all our requirements, and therefore we have decided to go ahead with a multi-cloud approach. So currently we use private cloud as well as public cloud. But as we go forward, I think we are moving more and more of our workloads onto public cloud. But obviously after doing necessary assessments, and then we are taking those calls. As we move forward, we see cloud will be extremely important for any company, and because it offers obviously high level of scalability, agility, flexibility, and I think those are all the important criteria when we choose any of our technology platform, right? Whether it's a platform as a service or as infrastructure as a service or a software as a service, right? More and more we are looking at solutions where actually software as a service, because that we believe give us a lot more flexibility for us to operate. Yes, obviously we have invested in certain technologies where in the in the near term or in the foreseeable future we may not put them onto a public cloud immediately. But if I look at it, like, over a period of time, I think our workloads on public cloud will actually increase. I think it has been increasing over a period of time, right? So we use all the leading cloud service providers. Like, we are with 2 3 service providers currently. Yeah, we use Amazon cloud, we use Microsoft cloud, and as well as we also have IBM private cloud, where we have hosted our some of our key core applications. Yeah, we don't have any data centers. I'm saying we have done away with our data centers long ago. Okay, it's not in the recent period. We have done away with our data center probably 5 6 years ago. Yeah, yeah.
Great, excellent. Jay, if you want to share your insights on the cloud adoption that you've seen in this, the recent years. I mean, obviously, cloud acceptance and organization moving to digital platforms has always been there, but now it's rapidly increased. So, your thoughts on that, Jay?
Absolutely, Khushbu. Let me start with between the two companies or the two brands. At least if I have to look at the similarity, any company who's there in India market for more than 100 years, who stands for trust, it's Godrej and Tata, right? So, and that's a similarity that we've been carrying it. Coming to maintain the trust factor across peoples, we definitely move to digital. So that's a need of the hour. And like what Subrata told, moving to cloud, moving to digital is not an option at all. So we need to definitely look at it as a technology to enable whatever the ethic or the brand that we stands for. That. To that extent, what I heard from Subrata is that most of his is actually kind of he's planned in terms of moving to private cloud and public cloud, which is generally a practice across all the enterprises in India market, not only in India but globally as well. For example, GCPL is about operating in 90 countries, almost similar kind of employees that we have got, 12,000 plus employees, 1.5 billion revenue. All that it's absolutely great, and I also see the similarity between they have a concept of direct to consumer, right? So today, looking at the situation that we are in and how the digital channels enablement reach the end consumer, that's what the ultimate objective of the business, right? Looking at that direct to consumer concept or a strategy from Godrej, and the store at home kind of a technology enablement from Tata Communication, I see that's where the consumer or the enterprise's behavior and where the service provider is always towards the same goal of making that cloud enablement is the topmost priority. It's a internet first, cloud first technology that we are actually living in today. And like I said earlier, cloud or digital migration is no more an option. So we should look at it. And I would also like to understand from Subrata, you have actually highlighted a couple of applications. You already moved into public cloud and a couple of them in private cloud. On your specific strategy on direct to consumer, what kind of technology? You mentioned Amazon cloud and all that. Uh, so, so we would like to understand that in detail. What kind of, because today omni-channel is the mandatory, right?
So
Omni-channel is where we need to look at it.
yeah. So I think let me clarify that, like, our direct to consumer business is pretty very small at this point, right? We are not big on direct to consumer, right? We still we are we mostly use our traditional distribution channels, right? We have launched some products on our B2C channel. Uh, yeah, those are all specific products, for for certain specific categories, and therefore and at this point in time, as I said, like, it's very very small business, right? So yes, we are using the cloud platform for that at this point in time, because no point in having that on our uh, I mean, as I said, like, we don't have any data center, and there we are using a public cloud, not a private cloud. And in private cloud, where, as I mentioned, like, we are using only our core applications at this point in time. Only the foundational systems like your ERP, application, SAP, application is hosted there in our private cloud. But all the other workloads, right, for our businesses, we are moving into a public cloud. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think I'll just take one more stop on this, Khushbu. Yeah, so where I'm actually coming from is that we just looked at your the new MDCU vision. Currently, the digital channel or the omni-channel percentage is about 5%, and moving that 5% to 8% in the next 2 to 3 years time, and aligning to this consumer direct approaches and all that. So we would like to understand that, because so that's exactly aligned to your strategy, be it public cloud or a private cloud, right? So that's what we thought we can look at how this can be a more interesting space for both of us.
Yeah, as I said, as I said, our D2C business is, we have just started, like, a couple of years ago, and we are in that journey. Yeah, okay. And we are using the digital channels, like, the technology platform, which is currently hosted on onto cloud, which is and we wanted to work on that areas. There are several challenges as well. So it's not only a technology challenge, it's also a challenge of, how do you make sure that, okay, you are able to fulfill the need of the customer at the right time, correct? So there will be a challenge related to logistics. There will be a, because if somebody is placing an order of a particular amount, right, I'm saying, how do you make sure that, okay, you are able to deliver it to the doorstep, within that expected time frame, right? So I think it is not a technology challenge at this point in time. The challenge will be there in certain other areas as well. Yeah. But this is something, I think, what we'll we learn over a period of time. We want also understand our consumers better. We believe that this D2C channel will also help us to understand the needs and want of our customers better, right? Of our consumers need and want better, right? So I think we at this point in time, uh, we'll probably try to learn more from that. Yeah, and as we go along, and then we'll decide on what is the right technology we need to invest in, right? uh, yeah, so I think this
Absolutely.
is something what is a journey which will continue, and then we'll learn from that. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, for the, in fact, I strongly concur to your view. And in fact, our experience with the market is also the similar, right? Today, we are actually evolving with the external economic situation and the environmental situation. How much percentage of cloud is good? How much percentage of cloud is important, critical, is what everybody is actually looking at. It is not that one big step scale they would like to move on at the first step. It's a gradual step based on the multiple factor that you highlighted, right? It's not only about the technology, but the ecosystem around the technology and the acceptance from the consumer behavior and the best channel that we can look at it. So back to you, Khushbu. So I'm in concur with what Subrata said.
And this D2C thing, we are doing it not only in also in India, we are doing it even in certain other geographies as well, like in Africa, right? We have
Right.
also launched our D2C channel where we are, um, you know, where consumers can actually directly go to the site and then place an order, and then we'll be delivering it there, right? But as I said, like, putting the technology platform is easy, right? It's not difficult, right? You can actually easily put a technology platform, and then keep taking orders. I think the key challenge is how do you make sure you fulfill those orders on time? Okay,
Absolutely.
that is where
Absolutely.
I think will be a challenge, and then I think that is something what we'll actually we have started, and then we'll learn in the course of our journey.
Absolutely. But I think you have a very excellent strategy in the initial dates itself. You don't want to have a data center on your own, because otherwise all the employees who's actually working from different regions, different places has to come to the central infra. Then your application anyway in the cloud, then they have to come here and then move to the cloud, rather than they can directly move to the cloud if that has been enabled already. I think
Yeah.
that's an excellent strategy that you have adopted.
Yeah, and more importantly, Jay, you see that, like, today I think it's not only work from home; it is actually work from anywhere, right? I
Absolutely.
think what we need to offer to our people is that you should be able to work from anywhere, right? And for that, this convergence of technologies will play a very, very, significant role. Yeah, sometimes you will be able to, you need to work using probably internet. You will be connecting through a video call. Sometimes you may like to connect through the phone. So how do you actually make sure you offer multiple channels of communication to your employees, to your customers, to your partners, so that they can come onto your network seamlessly, and then can work with you. Yeah, so basically integrating all these technologies together will be extremely critical for any company at this point in time. Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah. Agreed. Yeah, Khushbu, back to you.
My another question for you, Subrata, was how do you measure customer service, and customer experience? If you can share some light on the techniques of emerging customer experience.
So currently, if you see, we use some of the traditional, tools to really measure our customer experience internally and externally for both our internal and external customers. We use tools like NPS, which Net Promoter Scores, then CSAT survey, and all of those things, right, to understand the user experience and the customer experience for our internal as well as external customers. But as I see it going forward, but I believe also some of these tools and technologies are probably uh, you know uh, good to understand in a reactive manner, and these are all reactive tools, these are not proactive tools, correct? This helps you to understand what has happened in the past, and based on that, your customer or your users are giving you certain feedback, right? But I think going forward, this will not be very helpful. I think going forward, what will be the need of the hour will be is to uh, look at things which can be much more predictive. Like, if you can understand your customer's journey, and then you can understand your customers want and need proactively, and then try to fulfill that, will be experience, will be very good, right? So you want to understand that based on the customer's behavior, based on your users behavior, and based on, like, how he's interacting with you in that entire journey of, and then uh, take proactive actions, right? And then provide some predictive recommendations, right? And that will be quite useful, right? It will vary from industry to industry. Okay, why, having said that, as I said, like, it will vary from industry to industry. For certain industries, it will be much more important and meaningful. Like, say, for example, if you look at industry like, say, insurance, or probably say airlines industry, right? This customer experience can be very, very different things which you can do using all these proactive and predictive technology solutions, right? If you are able to find out the what will be if there is a, say, for the airlines industry, like, if you can just find out and then predict like, what is the compensation which you need to pay for a delay, and then you proactively tell your customers, saying that, okay, look, their flight is getting delayed, and that will have so much of impact, and therefore you are able to provide some compensation to him, right? If you look at in insurance industry, where probably if you are able to find out what is the need of the patient much early, and then give a predictive solution to them, right? That will be much more meaningful, right? So I think this will be, again, it will evolve, people will figure out. I think more, I think future, what I see is very clearly, this customer experience things will be more driven based on data and analytics than what has happened in the past. In the past, or even today, I would say most of it is done based on NPS, CSAT score, and all of that, right? But going forward, I think it will be more data driven, analytics driven kind of approach. That's what I feel.
Very true, very true. Subrata, it was great insights. I think this is my last question for the session. If you can give certain best practices or certain do's and don'ts for the other CIO viewers of our interview. So, any suggestions, do's and don'ts that you would like to share?
Okay. Do's, very clearly, I think, is very simple, right? And uh, first, like, you need to understand that, okay, there are several technologies which are available in the market, right? And the technology will evolve. So you'll have to actually keep looking at it, how it actually can create an impact, in your business. So l- identify, I think most important thing is to understand what is the business need, right? How it is going to create an impact in your business, right? Whether by helping the business to grow faster, or whether by helping the business to manage their cost better, whether you can improve customer experience, whether you can improve user experience internally, so identify what makes sense for you from the business side first, right? Understand the challenges and opportunities in the business environment, and then decide what is right and what is wrong for you. Yeah, I think it answers both do's and don'ts, in one way or the other.
Absolutely, it does. It was a great session. Thank you so much, Subrata, for joining us. Thank you, Jay. It was a pleasure to have you both. And, I think all these insights are going to be very helpful for our viewers. Thank you once again. It's a pleasure to host you.
My pleasure, thank you so much.